Now, we all have our lists of personal favorites in the sports superhero category. Yours might include Barry Sanders or Michael Jordan or Muhammad Ali. If you're a disc golfer, your list most definitely includes Ken Climo.
I enjoyed sports throughout my whole life. The sport that gave me the most drive early on, I think, was racing BMX bicycles. You know, big racetracks with people next to you and just being in the moment, in the mix. I really enjoyed that mano-a-mano type aspect of it. I first discovered disc golf in May of 1987. My brother had told me about a disc golf course that he read in the paper went into the park at Cliff Stevens Park.
Did you have any previous experience in other Frisbee sports?
I could throw a Frisbee. I used to play catch with my friends, you know, whammo, big beach Frisbee.
It translated perfectly into disc golf. It was hard to find a disc back then, so I played with one disc for 6 or 7 months. I would play 9 rounds a day. Granted, we only had 9 holes, 9 or 10 rounds a day, sometimes on my home course. Between 1987 and 1988 is when we got our first baskets, and then we moved the wooden post to the back 9. So right around 87, 88 is when I actually saw my first basket. The most prominent early person in my disc golf career to push me forward and make me want to get better was Mr. C.R. Willie. He knew a bit about the disc golf circuit and where the tournaments were going to be and things like that. I'd say the turning point was probably the 1988 Triple Crown. I played the first 2 legs in the advanced division, and I felt like it was time to turn pro at my home course, which was less than a year after I had first started playing. My first professional tournament, I think I ended up getting 1 stroke out of the cash. I knew in my heart that I could do this, I just need a little more time. It definitely was dreams and aspirations of everybody that played that the sport could get bigger and it could gain sponsorship dollars and things like that, but they were all just dreams at that point. It was more about having fun and kind of felt like we were building something special, like pioneers kind of. My confidence, my ability, they were enough, you know, they were enough at that point to drive me forward to start beating the world, I would say. There was 9 lead changes and 3 different leaders throughout the final 18 holes. It all came down to the 17th hole. I kind of asked myself, do you have this in you right now? And the voice inside said, yes, you do. Go for it. And you know, I reached down deep and gave it everything I had and won by 1 stroke.
Winner's check for my first world championship.
To me, I think that's where I really understood that I've got what it takes to beat these guys. And that's when I went on my 9 worlds in a row run.
Talk about the disc golfer. Ken Climo, you know the name? Ken Climo.
The second championship was in Dayton, Ohio. I ended up winning by 10 strokes or something like that. It was very memorable in how comfortable I felt out there. Moving on from there, I believe we went to Michigan. There was a pretty good battle going on. Steve Valencia was a big catalyst for making me want to play better, especially in those bigger events. There was a couple in Texas, Port Arthur. The first year we were there, I ran away with it, just 18-stroke victory. I was on top of the world. It couldn't be touched. And the next year, I ended up cruising it in pretty good. I think he ended up 4 strokes behind me.
Kenny, 4 years in a row. How long did the dynasty keep going?
Oh, as long as I keep playing the way I'm playing, I can't be unhappy with anything.
At the end of my run of 9 in a row, I was going for number 10 in Rochester, New York. Had a big battle with Ron Russell. Definitely very tough competitor. We were fairly even through the first 3, 4, 5 rounds, and coming down the stretch, he didn't miss a putt that I recall inside 60 feet for like the last 4 rounds. The feeling was a huge relief. I took my hat off, I bowed to him. I felt like, you know, finally, someone outplayed me. We were 3/4 of the way through the tournament, and my closest competitor was, guess who? Ron Russell. He had taken a bad kick deep into the woods. He threw, the disc came out, and then we heard whack, and it wasn't the disc. Basically broke his hand. Because of that, I was able to cruise to victory at that point.
He's Ken Climo. He has won the World Championships 10 times, and we have little doubt that we'll be seeing him in the winner's circle again.
Came back the next year in 2002 in Houston, Texas, played great.
I mean, Kenny's hard to beat with a 1-stroke lead, so with a 12-stroke lead, that's pretty much all he needs.
Ended up winning by around 10 strokes, somewhere in there.
And that's going to do it. Ken Climo is the world champion for his 11th time.
11 times out of the last 13 years, Brian. That is some kind of record.
So let's talk about who do you think might have a chance to win this weekend?
Well, naturally, the favorite is Ken Climo. He's here, he's familiar with the course, he's won a number of times. He would certainly be the betting favorite.
Played one of the greatest rounds for a semifinal. I shot 8 or 9 under at Riverview Park. And then the final 9 there, I just wasn't missing any putts. I was making 40, 50, 60 footers throughout the whole final 9. There was no catching me. It felt so good to come back strong, and it was unbelievable. I gave the basket a big hug. It's just probably the most emotion I've let out on any of those wins was that one.
There can be no doubt about it. He is the champ. Ken Climo, congratulations.
Thanks, bud.
This was a number, a legacy that, you know, was there for the ages. 12. It's hard to win one, but to get that 12th one, it was an overwhelming feeling of gratitude that I was able to get it done one more time and kind of cement my legacy as the champ. Looking back on my career, I feel that I've left a legacy in the sport, you know, amount of titles won, percentage of tournaments won. Played 460-ish tournaments, and I've won 230 of them, which is right around 50%. To hear people call me the GOAT of disc golf, it's very humbling. It's almost overwhelming that I can be looked at and by that many people throughout the world as the one. I did it for the love of it. I did it for the longest time for the love of it. And I still do it for the love of it. I still get out and play casual rounds, and I do it because I love it. I would hope to inspire future generations on not just winning, but being a good sport, having good faith for the fellow man. You're not always going to come out on top, but you can always be a good human. While playing tournaments and being at the top of the game was super exciting for many, many, many years for me, I would like to think that I have more to offer to this sport and more of a legacy to leave. There is something that is the next chapter for me.